Hidden in the remote corners of the dark continent, wild ginseng is like an uncut gem yet to be polished. A land so mysterious that even the most seasoned explorers can only skim its surface. However, what drove the Europeans, particularly the Portuguese community? Why would you dare to risk abandoning a life of luxury to settle in this wild, untamed land? Is it because of the endless stretches of pristine beaches, where time seems to stand still? Or is it because the untouched tropical forests still hide countless undiscovered mysteries? Or is it the promise of a new life, where money is no longer a lingering burden? And are humans truly free to live in alignment with their own desires? Let's uncover the hidden mysteries behind this forgotten paradise. The Nature Conservation Antes, the pride of the Mozambique mine. Mozambique is renowned for its vast system of nature reserves. Attract wildlife-loving travelers. Over 12% of the country's total land area is designated as natural conservation zones, with 6 national parks and 6 national-level nature reserves. Among the reserves, the largest is undoubtedly Nyasa. Here, you can admire majestic lions, agile leopards, massive elephants, powerful buffaloes, and unique zebras. The African wild dog, along with many other rare animal species. For those who love nature, this place is truly a paradise. 2. The giraffe and the journey of rebirth. Once, giraffes had nearly vanished from the Mozambique region, due to the consequences of war and rampant deforestation. However, in recent years, efforts to reintroduce this species into the wild have yielded promising results. Currently, this area is home to approximately 250 South African giraffes. 3. The surprising return of the rhinoceros. Previously, rhinos went extinct in Mozambique about 40 years ago due to poaching and war. But 2022 became a significant milestone with the arrival of 20 white rhinos and 7 black rhinos. The herd of elephants was relocated from South Africa to national parks in Mozambique. This demonstrates that wildlife conservation efforts in this area are yielding positive results. Fake gasoline. The issue of fake gasoline has long been a persistent headache in Mozambique. Rhino horn is dubbed black gold, with prices ranging from 85 million to 400 million dong per kilogram. Primarily consumed in China and Vietnam for medicinal purposes. To protect rhinos from poaching, their horns are often removed to reduce commercial value, making them less appealing to smugglers. However, after a few years, the callus will grow back. Because poachers only target the volume of horns, they are willing to kill rhinos even when the horns are not fully grown. Many organizations are now facilitating opportunities for people to volunteer in order to protect these vulnerable animals. 5. Daily life, education, and healthcare. If you're raising young children and living in Moscow, a private school is likely the better choice. Because public schools are often overcrowded and lack adequate facilities, the healthcare system still has many shortcomings, especially in rural areas. In the capital city of Maputo, the quality of healthcare services is better, but you should still have private health insurance. And may have to go to South Africa for treatment if facing serious health issues. The doctors here usually communicate in Portuguese or English, as some medications are hard to find. The most important thing is to always take malaria prevention medication and protect yourself from mosquito bites, as this is a very common disease. 6. Traffic. A problem that is far from simple. Mozambique has approximately 30,000 kilometers of roads, but only 5,600 kilometers of them are paved, primarily concentrated around the capital and major cities. LL need a 4-wheel drive vehicle because the rough dirt roads aren't. Additionally, the country's 3,100-kilometer railway system serves both domestic residents and international tourists. 7. A nation facing countless hardships and challenges. Mozambique is one of the least economically developed countries on the continent. Living here isn't easy at all. This country constantly faces many challenges, such as droughts and floods, especially in coastal regions. This not only affects people's lives but also has a strong impact on the economy. The population of Mozambique is relatively sparse. Most inhabitants live in coastal areas or the Zambezi River Valley, where the fertile land is favorable for agricultural development. However, natural conditions are not always favorable. 8. Wildlife is incredibly diverse and abundant. Mozambique impresses with its rich and diverse wildlife. This place is home to many large animals such as elephants, water buffalo, lions, and rhinos. Even smaller species like baboons, wild boars, or leopards. This area is also home to zebras, antelopes, giraffes, and many other animal species. Additionally, many aquatic animals such as crocodiles and hippos also inhabit river and lake regions. However, such diversity also carries significant risks. Here are the natural English translations for the given Vietnamese text. One of the most dangerous animals in Mozambique is the mosquito, particularly the species carrying the malaria parasite Plasmodium falciparum. Not only snakes, but many other animals also pose serious threats. Among them, crocodiles are considered one of the most common deadly species to humans. Every year, dozens of people, mostly children and women, are attacked while bathing, fetching water, or washing clothes at the river. Although these attacks do not occur frequently, they remain a major concern for the riverside communities. 10. Snakes and endemic bird species. Mozambique is home to a diverse range of snake species, including white snakes, venomous green snakes, and even cobras. These species are found throughout the country, so people need to be extremely cautious. Additionally, waterfowl such as flamingos, cranes, and wild ducks also require attention and protection. The Bonang people primarily inhabit the wetlands of northwestern Mozambique. These animals, along with the natural landscape, form part of the country's diverse ecological picture. 11. The economy is primarily based on agriculture and the fisheries sector. Mozambique's economy is primarily based on agriculture and fishing, with over 80% of the population engaged in farming. Some of this country's key export commodities include shrimp, cotton, sugar, and citrus fruits. Moreover, Mozambique is one of the leading cashew nut producers in Africa. This region boasts highly developed agriculture thanks to its fertile land and ideal climate for cultivation. Natural disasters remain a constant threat to people's lives. 12. Mining of minerals, gold, and tantalum. Alongside agriculture, the mining industry is also one of the main economic pillars of Mozambique. This country possesses valuable mineral resources, notably gold and tantalum, a metal essential to the electronics industry. However, resource extraction must be carried out sustainably to minimize negative impacts on the environment and the livelihoods of local communities. 13. The gap between urban and rural areas. Approximately one-third of Mozambique's population lives in urban areas, primarily concentrated in the capital Maputo and major cities like Beira and Nampula. However, the majority of the population still lives in rural areas. These areas are primarily traditional villages with simple thatched roofs, yet they are also places where agriculture thrives vigorously. Life in urban and rural areas still has distinct differences, which is one of the prominent features of this country. Here are the natural English translations for the given Vietnamese text. Mozambique is a multilingual country, where people speak more than 80 different languages. In the northwest region, Swahili is commonly spoken. The Sona language is the primary language spoken in the Giabran region of Zimbabwe. In the southern provinces, the Sunga language is widely spoken. However, Portuguese remains the official language and is used as the medium of instruction in schools nationwide. This contributes to the formation of a diverse and rich culture, vividly reflected in both language and traditional customs. 15. Geography and natural resources. Mozambique boasts a long and stunning coastline along the Mozambique Channel, home to some of Africa's most beautiful natural harbors. As a result, this country has risen strongly in the maritime industry, contributing to the economic growth of the Indian Ocean region. The stunning white sandy beaches of Mozambique are a captivating tourist destination, always drawing large crowds of visitors from all over the world. Moreover, the fertile land in the northern and central regions forms the foundation for a thriving agricultural sector. Meanwhile, the Zambezi River provides an abundant water source for agricultural activities and serves as a vital foundation for the development of the hydropower sector. 16. A complex past and lingering challenges. Mozambique has a turbulent history. In 1975, the country officially gained independence. This country endured a bloody civil war under the leadership of the Mahdist government. With Soviet support, they fought against the reactionary forces backed by South Africa and the former Rhodesian regime. Despite overcoming countless hardships, the scars of war still deeply mark the country's socio-economic development. Nevertheless, Mozambique still holds great potential for significant development in the future. With abundant natural resources and a key strategic location. 17. The Civil War and its consequences. The Civil War in Mozambique erupted in 1977 and lasted for 15 long years, marked by immense suffering and devastation. The war forced around 4 million people to flee their homes, creating a massive wave of migration. Over 1 million people perished in this conflict, not only due to war but also because of rampant famine and disease. Although the war ended in 1992, the scars it left behind remain deeply etched. Additionally, during the war, many nature reserves were also severely devastated. By the 1990s, around 90% of large mammals in some national parks had been hunted to extinction. As a result, the domestic ecosystem is severely impacted. 18. Early settlement history of this region. The history of Mozambique dates back to the 4th century BC, when the first inhabitants set foot on this land. The first settlements along the coast were established in the 9th century AD, when Swahili culture became the dominant influence in the region. Here is the natural English translation of your Vietnamese text. 19. The arrival of the Portuguese. In 1498, explorer Vasco da Gama arrived in Mozambique, marking the beginning of Portugal's long-lasting influence over the region. The ports of Mozambique played a significant role in the formation of trade hubs in the Indian Ocean region. However, it was not until 1975 that Mozambique officially gained independence after a long period of Portuguese colonial rule. After nearly 500 years of domination, this country never ceased its struggle for independence and rebuilt its homeland from the ashes of war. 20. Origin of the name Mozambique. The name Mozambique originates from Masha Abid, an Arab merchant who lived on a small offshore island in the 15th century. At that time, the capital of Mozambique was also located on this island. However, by 1898, the capital was relocated to the mainland, in Maputo, which remains the nation's capital to this day. 21. Slavery and the slave trade. In the 18th century, the slave trade played a pivotal role in Mozambique's economy. Arab merchants had established a vast and intricate human trafficking network. From the Marab region around Lake Nyasha, stretching to Kiowa and the island of Mozambique, this was a dark period in the nation's history. Every day, countless people were kidnapped and sold into slavery to European nations, forced to labor on plantations or participate in trade activities across Africa and many other lands. 22. Nyasha Lake, a unique natural landscape. Lake Nyasha, also known as Lake Malawi, is the largest lake within Mozambique's territory, located in the north and shared among 3 countries: Mozambique, Malawi, and Tanzania. It is also one of the largest freshwater lakes in the world by area. Lake Nyasha is not only renowned for its mesmerizing beauty but also shrouded in many mysteries. This place is home to strange tales, such as the 1905 incident when a newspaper reported a group of missionaries being attacked by a sea serpent while traveling by boat. This bird is believed to be called Simqua, and their story remains one of the most fascinating aspects related to this lake. 23. Mozambique Island, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Mozambique Island is a historic island city in Nampula Province, renowned for its pivotal role in the country's history. It was not only the first settlement of the indigenous people but also home to the famed Charles Sebastião Fortress. Mozambique Island was once a vital trading post on the Indian Ocean trade route and is now recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. This island stands as a historical testament to the cultural exchange between Arab, Portuguese, and indigenous civilizations. Ponta do Ouro is a captivating destination for South African tourists, thanks to its golden beaches and proximity to the border. The area is renowned for its stretches of golden sand and luxurious resorts, offering visitors a perfect space for relaxation. One of the unique features of this area is the presence of sea turtles such as loggerheads and green turtles, with nesting sites at nearby Ponta Mamoli. This is an ideal destination for nature lovers and those seeking sustainable tourism activities. 25. Congo National Park and Wildlife Conservation Efforts. Tropical rainforest belt is a magnificent natural area that suffered heavy losses during the Civil War. Most of the park, thanks to conservation efforts, the elephant population has gradually recovered and grown again after once dwindling to only about 200 individuals. The park rangers are actively monitoring and protecting the elephant herd along with other wildlife to maintain and restore the area's biodiversity. 26. New resources and global trade. Mozambique has just discovered massive offshore oil and natural gas reserves in its northern waters, marking a new turning point for the country's industry. This institute not only contributes to boosting the economy but also opens up development opportunities for new industries. These resource deposits have attracted the attention of many foreign investors, particularly from South Africa, India, the Netherlands, China, the United Arab Emirates, and Portugal. It is these partners who have played a key role in establishing vital trade relations, helping to drive Mozambique's economy to remarkable growth. 27. The presence of Portuguese cultural heritage. Mozambique was a Portuguese colony for centuries, and the influences from that era remain deeply ingrained in the country's culture and society to this day. Portuguese remains the official language, used in education and administrative communication. Catholicism also plays a significant role in the spiritual lives of many Mozambicans. However, the locals still preserve their distinctive traditional cultural features, harmoniously blending with influences from Portuguese culture, creating a cultural intersection that is both unique and diverse. 28. The HIV/AIDS situation in Mozambique. HIV/AIDS remains a major challenge for Mozambique, with approximately 2.1 million people in the country currently living with the disease. Mozambique is one of the 3 countries with the highest HIV/AIDS infection rates in the world, ranking only behind South Africa and India. The government and international organizations are actively implementing measures to provide timely information, treatment, and support for patients as well as those affected by this disease. However, mitigating the impact of HIV/AIDS remains a major challenge for the country. 29. Piri piri, a spice bursting with bold flavor. One of the essential signature spices in Mozambican cuisine is piri piri, a spicy sauce made from red chili peppers. Piri piri. Piri piri is not just a popular spice in cuisine but also the soul of traditional Mozambican grilled dishes, imparting a distinctive and uniquely fiery flavor to each dish. Mataba is a famous traditional dish from Mozambique. Another traditional dish particularly favored by Mozambicans is matapa, also known as mukun. It is made from cassava leaves sautéed with cashew nuts or ground nuts, then simmered until tender in a rich sauce. This dish is often served with rice, offering a rich, flavorful, and nutritious taste. Mataba is a familiar dish in many households, usually prepared during Tet, Lunar New Year, or when special guests visit. 31. Rare animals and plants in Mozambique. Mozambique is home to many rare species of animals and plants, including some that are endangered. Representative of the country's distinctive wildlife are the black and white colobus monkey communities and 2 endemic primate species, the baboon and the gelada monkey. These species not only hold high biological value but are also a source of pride for Mozambique, showcasing the region's rich biodiversity. 32. The official languages of Mozambique. The majority of Mozambique's population speaks Bantu languages, a branch of the Niger-Congo language family. Among these, the most widely spoken languages are Makwa, Lomwe, Shona, Sena, Sangha, and Chope. This is a language that has existed and evolved over centuries, reflecting the diversity in the communication and cultural life of the Mozambican people. 33. The Goni language and influences from neighboring countries. Besides the Bantu language group in southernmost Mozambique and some neighboring countries, there are also ethnic minority groups who speak Nguni, a common language among many communities in South Africa and Zimbabwe. The distribution of this language stems from the large migration wave in the 19th century, when the Goni community moved to these countries and settled alongside the indigenous peoples of Mozambique. 34. The most fertile rural areas in Mozambique are typically found in the Lorio and Ligana river valleys and the coastal plains between these two rivers, where the land is rich and the climate is ideal for agricultural cultivation. These are key agricultural production regions, providing the main food supply for the entire country. Thanks to its mild climate and fertile soil, this area has become an ideal environment for cultivating staple crops such as corn, cassava, and rice, fully meeting domestic consumption needs. 35. Sustainable farming and productivity improvement. In small residential clusters, people often practice sustainable farming methods by cultivating diverse crops on the same plot of land. The goal is to minimize the risk of crop failure when facing natural disasters such as floods, droughts, or pest infestations. This book not only contributes to environmental protection but also helps people stabilize their livelihoods, ensuring a sustainable food supply for their families even during difficult times. 36. The Meeting on Independence and the Mozambique Liberation Front. In 1962, exiled Mozambican political organizations gathered in Tanganyika, which was then part of Tanzania, and the Mozambique Liberation Front was established. Eduardo Mondlane, who later became a key historical figure of the country, was elected as the organization's first president. Struggle for independence from Portuguese colonial rule, officially securing the country. Through the Lusaka agreements with the Portuguese colonial government, this was a historic turning point, marking the end of many years of oppression, and embarked on the arduous new journey in Mozambique. 37. Current population status and key health concerns. Mozambique is facing significant challenges in the field of public health. Notably, the country's infant mortality rate remains alarmingly high. This is one of the highest rates in the world, reflecting the current challenges in the healthcare system. The average life expectancy in Mozambique is low but not significantly different from other African countries. Its population consists of children under 15 years old, with the majority of the country. This reflects a young population but also poses significant challenges in ensuring quality healthcare and education for the rising generation. Here are the English translation options based on your context. During the colonial era, many Mozambicans left their homeland for neighboring countries to work, primarily in the mines of South Africa or the urban farms of Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe. Under Portuguese rule, Mozambicans were forced into contract labor or informal work while enduring widespread discrimination. Despite their significant contributions to the host country's economies, their lives were marked by hardship, deprivation, and a lack of proper labor rights protections. 39. Deforestation and its environmental impacts. Since gaining independence, Mozambique's forests, particularly along the Shapira route and in the northern Zambezia province, have been heavily exploited. Wood and forest products are the primary fuel sources for daily life, mainly used as firewood and charcoal domestically. However, logging activities are not offset by adequate reforestation measures, leading to overexploitation beyond the natural recovery capacity. This issue is not only concerning from a forest conservation perspective, but also has long-term ecological consequences, particularly from acacia plantations, which can disrupt the natural balance of the environment. The Medico River and the current economic situation. The Metical is the official currency of Mozambique. Despite numerous efforts to privatize the banking sector since the 1990s, the country's economy still faces countless challenges. Particularly in maintaining foreign exchange reserves, the government is forced to borrow to fund development projects while addressing the shortage of foreign currency to ensure economic stability. Excessive reliance on borrowing coupled with a shortage of foreign currency has become one of the main obstacles on the path to building a sustainable economy. 41. The history of Mozambique's aviation industry. At the beginning of the 20th century, private planes were the most common means of transportation in Mozambique. But after World War II, Portugal's national airline began operating regular flights between Pura and Maputo. Later, during the colonial period, Mozambique established its own airline, facilitating domestic connections and expanding communication with other countries. In 1980, Mozambique Airlines was officially established, marking a significant milestone in the development of the country's aviation industry. 42. Political changes following the enactment of the new constitution. In November 1990, Mozambique officially adopted a new constitution, marking a pivotal turning point in its transition to a democratic system. The constitution stipulates a multi-party election system, ensuring the principles of universal suffrage and secret ballots. This marks a significant step forward in building democracy and enhancing the people's freedoms. Right to strike, contributing to the establishment of a solid legal foundation for Mozambique. 43. Traditional customs and political institutions. Mozambican society values family traditions and a strong sense of community. The Mozambican government has taken a clear stance in condemning certain traditional practices, including polygamy and personality cult rituals. These things may be seen as contradictory to modern societal norms. The government gradually took control of leadership positions, especially since the colonial era, when the heads of state managed the country's politics. The government has temporarily suspended the practice of polygamy and related traditional ceremonies. In the late 1990s, the Mozambican government faced a challenging decision, addressing traditional customs such as polygamy and initiation rites. Although the government initially firmly opposed these practices, they soon realized that either regulating them within the legal framework or completely eradicating such ancient customs was extremely difficult. People still maintain these habits within their community, so it will take time to change them abruptly. Therefore, the government has temporarily suspended campaigns to deal with them. At the same time, regulatory agencies and local authorities played a crucial role in managing and maintaining social order. At the same time, it is necessary to establish uniformity in behavior and these customs within today's society. Cassava is the staple food in the daily meals of most people in Mozambique. People usually cook cassava until tender, then pound it into small pieces and eat it with a thick sauce or maseca, a type of cornmeal. Rice is an essential dish in many meals, often served with beans, one of the most distinctive features of the cuisine. Mozambique is a dish of Indian origin, such as fried rice cooked with assorted vegetables and finely chopped meat. Sometimes, curry is added as a spice, bringing the distinctive flavor of India. These dishes are not only proof of cultural exchange, but also a mirror reflecting the people's way of life. A place where tradition blends with multicultural influences, creating vibrant and richly flavored dishes. The culture, art, and development journey of the Mozambique Cultural Village. Mozambique is home to many renowned writers and artists across Africa, those who have contributed to the development of global culture and arts. Africano and *O. Despite facing strict censorship from the Portuguese colonial government, these newspapers became an important forum for African intellectuals and writers. Despite being weighed down by pressure and control, those writers persistently maintained their own voices, thereby contributing to the advancement of African culture. Mozambican music is a delicate blend of Western melodies and distinctive African cultural traits. Marabenta, one of the most distinctive music genres, emerged in 1950. This style was first performed with homemade guitars, crafted from oil barrels or gasoline canisters. The lyrics in Marabenta music often carry strong political undertones, expressing the people's anger and discontent under colonial rule. This is how people express their views discreetly, avoiding excessive attention from the authorities. This lively rhythm is closely tied to Marabenta music, becoming an indispensable part of Mozambique's musical and dance culture. Performed nationwide. In March 2019, Mozambique endured one of the most devastating natural disasters in its history. When Cyclone Idai made landfall in the country, it caused severe damage, killing around 600 people and devastating vast areas of land. The city of Para, right in the eye of the storm, suffered the heaviest damage and was nearly flattened completely. Despite implementing numerous relief and reconstruction measures, the aftermath of the storm remains clearly visible. Its consequences deeply affected the lives and economy of the people of Mozambique for many years to come. Here are the natural English translations for your options. Mozambique is divided into 10 provinces along with the capital Maputo, which is a centrally governed city. These provinces are further divided into a total of 129 districts, with administrative agencies and local units established to manage regional affairs. This administrative system helps to effectively govern and manage the country, despite the challenges in allocating resources and providing public services to all regions. However, the government continues to strive to ensure balanced development across the country and maintain stability throughout the nation-building process.